Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. In today's episode of the strategy series, we're going over how to beat Reboot Gohan. Aggro is a super strong force in the format right now. We did the how to beat Boo video last week. That got a lot of positive feedback, and you guys asked for a video on how to beat Gohan. So for that reason, we're getting into this video today. Guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. We have a huge giveaway going on over at the community tab of this channel. Make sure to go check that out. If you guys want to help support the channel, we got the Patreon down below, the Crossroad TCG merch store, and finally, guys, if you want to buy or pre-order any of the cards you see in today's video, make sure to use my link down below to either TCG Player or Bearded Collectibles. Thank you guys all so much for that support. That being said, let's get on into this video. So, what is the strategy of Gohan? I think it's very safe to say that Blue-Green Gohan is the most popular and most powerful variant of the deck, as just, shown by the Tournament Power Weekend and a few other regional weekends we've seen thus far. So, with that in mind, you want to keep in mind that this is going to be a video talking about mostly that variant of the deck. There are the green-yellow variant of the deck where they kind of drop the Gohan successor from the Cell Structure deck. There's also the red-green variant where they just play a lot of arrivals, and they all kind of generally operate the same way, but I think blue-green is the most powerful, and that is thanks to cards like Cell's Earth-Destroying Kamehameha and Feet Kamehameha. So real quick, we'll go over the leader strategy. So the leader attacks, you can take either 1 or 2 life to your hand, then restand your leader. And on the turn that you're ready to awaken at 3 life or less, you draw 2, untap an energy. So you'll still be in active mode when you awaken. Then on the back side, you have to activate battle. It says once per turn during your turn, choose 1 card in your life, place it in your drop area. This card gets plus 10,000 power and triple strike for the turn. So you're in active mode when you use the activate battle. Then when that battle is done, your opponent either takes the damage or blocks it, whatever. Then you can attack and you'll still have triple strike. Then again, your opponent can negate, they can out combo it, they can take it, whatever the case is. And then you can go for the activate main, switch the card to active mode. At the end of the turn, you lose the game. So that'll effectively give you 3 triple strikes in 1 turn. A lot of players won't shotgun that 3rd triple strike, especially if they know you have the potential to negate. Like if you're tapped out and have no sparking, they'll probably go for it. But in the case that you aren't tapped out or you do have sparking, they probably won't. But what is Gohan doing to whittle down your resources? Well, they have access to 8 15k super combos, which is kind of ridiculous. They're not quite super combos, but they have really insane effects. So Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, 1 drop green extra card, activate battle if the leader is green, choose one of your leader or battle cards, gets plus 15,000 for the duration of the battle. Then auto if all your energy is green. When you activate this card, choose 1 card in your opponent's hand at random and place it in the drop area. So you're taking away an opponent's resource while giving your 25k triple strike leader a plus 15. And then Feet Kamehameha, activate battle if the leader card is a green Son Goku, which the awakened side of this leader is. This card gains 15,000 power and critical for the duration of the turn. So that's how they're going to try and get you down low early. They don't want to give you those 3 cards from the triple strike. Like if you're at like 8 or 6 or 5 life, they want to crit 3 of those lives and then go for the game ending shot. Likewise, these cards are also very powerful for this deck defensively. So if they need to spend a turn defending, especially in the blue-green variant where they do have Senzu Bean, they can get 20k combo power that also possibly makes you discard a card off of just 2 cards and 2 energy. So that's pretty insane value there. This deck does draw a lot of cards on the turn it awakens. The leader attacks and draws a card, and that's not once per turn. So anytime they're going to attack you twice with the leader on the awakened side, they're going to be able to draw a lot of cards. The awakened side draws a few cards. It's really powerful altogether. So with that being said, that's the strategy of the deck. It is a aggro beatdown deck. Let's talk about how to beat it. So one thing I want to mention before we talk about how to beat it is kind of a way to fall into a trap. So Topo Righteous Aid is the staple card you think about when you think about anti-aggro. It's either that or Flying Nimbus. And just so you guys know, Flying Nimbus does not do anything to this deck. Flying Nimbus does not limit your opponent's leader swings in any capacity. So just keep that in mind. But Topo Righteous Aid, you would think that, oh, if you get Topo on your opponent in the Gohan matchup, they're going to pass their turn. Well, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have the focus breakthrough because, like I said, they draw a whole lot of cards, especially the turn they awaken, and they probably are running 3 to 4 copies of focus breakthrough, which negates the play of anything 3 or less, which when you're trying to play Topo, it technically counts as a 2-drop. So Topo, not the greatest answer to Gohan, as much of an anti-aggro card as it is, but I will say if you can catch Gohan early, like if they're at 5 life or anything higher than that, and you activate the Topo, it will buy you a turn because you can only activate Focus Breakthrough when you're at 4 or less life. So if Gohan is going for that big awakening turn, they're trying to go from 5 to 3 with their own leader effect, you can Topo there because you'll be able to Topo before they're able to take life, and they won't be at the 4 life to activate Breakthrough. But I wanted to make that a common point for you guys to be aware of. Next up, we're talking about cards that tap leaders. These two cards in particular are very, very powerful against Gohan. So why are they powerful? SS Broly All Out Assault and Zamasu Sacred Disbelief. Like I said, they both tap your opponent's leader. So that's really powerful for a few reasons, one of which, like I mentioned before, on their big awakening turn, they're going to have a standing up leader that they're going to be able to activate battle, give triple strike, and that's going to be huge for them. So what you can do there is you can either use Zamasu Sacred Disbelief or SS Broly All Out Assault, which will then tap the leader. They'll also help you start to defend the attack because you have to combo at least 10k typically to drop Broly All Out Assault, and then Zamasu is a super combo, so you can combo out of the first triple strike. Maybe they dropped a feet Kamehameha, you got to get to 45k. That is a lot to ask, but you do have to defend it if you want to stay in the game. But on top of that, these cards are going to tap the leader, so if they want to go for the triple strike on you, you're basically forcing them to use their win the game or lose the game effect, right? So if you're putting them in a position where that leader is tapped, they have to use that ability to restand. A lot of times the Gohan player is going to be pretty scared to do that. Again, if you have Sparking 5 for a negate, or if you're not tapped out for a negate, most variants of Gohan don't have ways to tap your energy unless you play against the random Universe 6 Gohan deck, which did play at the Tournament Power event. So that is a deck to keep in mind, but not the most standard version. Like I said, the most standard version, definitely blue-green, wants to manipulate a lot of energy and go in that way. But tapping the leader, forcing them to use their win it or lose it effect, that is very, very good value, especially because Broly generates 25k body that you can then put pressure back on them, because once they are at 3 life, they don't want to be taking too much damage, because if they use that activate battle once especially, they're going to be at 2 life. So if you put them down to 1, they're not going to be able to triple strike with the leader, which is another way to help yourself win that game. Getting them to 1 is almost as good as getting them to 0 in some cases, just like we saw with Shenron Gogeta back in the day. If you put them at 1, they can't resolve Gogeta, and they can't really win the game. So next up, we're moving on to a few other cards. Blue negates are very, very powerful against Gohan. You guys may have seen my cooler deck profile from a few weeks ago. I did not play After Image in the main deck. I did not play Is That All You Got. I went for 4 Whis' Coercion because I am playing a blue-red deck, but I'm not playing a blue-based leader. If you're playing a blue-based leader, whether it's like a blue multicolor leader or a blue leader in general, you have to be maxing out 4-dimension magic. You're probably doing that even if Gohan wasn't in the format, but if you're playing some other type of blue deck, like maybe a red leader or yellow leader, I think Whis' Coercion is very, very much the way to go, because After Image is good right now, but it doesn't really do a whole lot against Gohan, and time magic is also not very great right now. There aren't a lot of dual attack, triple attack threats. So having the dimension magic to negate multiple times on the Gohan, their go-in turn, that is really, really powerful. Again, because a lot of times they will be scared, but if they decide to pull the trigger, then you have the negate for that last attack, and then they just lose the game. So you definitely want to be in that type of position when you're up against Gohan. Next up, we're talking about Beerus No Holds Barred. This is a card that I find a lot of success with when I'm playing Red Yellow Surge Goku. If you guys have been fans of the channel for any amount of time or know anything about me, you guys know that I am pretty successful with that deck, and I do play that deck a lot. Beerus No Holds Barred is one of my go-to strategies for dealing with Reboot Gohan, because tapping down the leader is so powerful. It's such a leader-centric strategy and deck that if they can't attack with a leader, they're not drawing cards, they're not self-awakening if they're on their unawakened side. But if they are on their awakened side, they're just not threatening you for lethal. They have some battle cards. They do have like the potential to arrival into Goku, drop the Piccolo that pops 20k Goku and rips 2 out of your hand. They do have the ability to go into some 1-drop crit attackers, 1-drop double strike attackers, but that really isn't the game-ending threat against you. Their leader is the most threatening thing they have in their entire deck. So having a card like Beerus No Holds Barred to tap it down and keep it tapped, it's almost like Zamasu Sacred Disbelief and Super Saiyan Broly All Out Assault. They almost serve similar purposes, but Beerus is really cool because it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive. Again, getting them down to 1 life can be very, very powerful. You can be aggressive. You can even afford to tap out in a lot of situations, and the fact that their leader won't be able to restand, that's going to basically guarantee you another turn. So this is actually a card I'll hard mulligan for some of the times when I am playing Red Yellow Surge Goku. It's just that good against Reboot Gohan. And then if you can resolve a Heartfelt Plea chain after that, like, you know, attack, drop the Beerus, awaken, go in Heartfelt Plea, put a lot of pressure on that way, they're typically not playing a whole lot of negates. So putting pressure on them like that could possibly sneak you in the game right then and there. Next up, I want to talk about a few more cards because, again, I did mention that the most popular and most powerful variant of Reboot Gohan is by far the blue-green version, and they're relying on Senzu Bean. They want to abuse Senzu Bean to, again, use a lot of those 15k combos they have at their disposal, like Feet Kamehameha and Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha. So with that in mind, Burnish Bonds Borgos and Trunks the Cunning are very great options for that. They don't typically have a lot of removal unless, again, they are playing the Arrival Goku into the 20k Piccolo that pops 20k Goku, but not all blue-green variants are playing that. And again, if they do Arrival the Goku, you can just combo away your Burn Response Borgos or the Trunks if the situation is appropriate. So that works out pretty well in terms of like counterplaying that. But Borgos, what it does is, once per turn during your opponent's turn, if your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a non-awakened skill, you kill one of their energy. So that's really, really powerful against Gohan, because you can just kill the energy they restand, especially if it's a multicolor energy, and they're going to be very, very tight on what they can do for the rest of that turn. Trunks the Cunning, when you play this card, draw 1, then for the duration of the game, if the turn player would use the skill of a battle card or extra card to switch energy to active mode, again, sense being there, they can't switch energy to active mode unless they choose 5 cards from their drop and send them to their warp. This card is a bit less effective, but it can be good if you don't really want the Trunks to stick around on the board. Like I mentioned before, they Arrival the Goku, they want to pop it with the Piccolo, you can combo the Trunks away, and they're still going to be taxed by the ability of the Cunning. And if they're playing overwhelms in their build, they're not always going to have the 5 in the drop area. Getting 5 in the drop area for them is not the hardest thing ever to do, but it is something that will definitely hinder them to a certain degree. I think Borgos and the cards like Borgos are very, very good as well, maybe a bit better, but those are just my opinions. But guys, those are my strategies and thoughts for how to counter Reboot Gohan. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other considerations, any other thoughts for the community to use. Definitely drop those in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time.